Well, how do you feel about Hannibal Buress kind of starting this whole ball that ended up just getting bigger and bigger?
Well, I never. I have been in Hollywood for years, and I never, ever, ever heard of that, ever. So for him to have, I'm like, how did he hear that? Like, where the fuck he hear that from? I'm like, oh, that's
Well,
privy house
t-
nigga shit.
well, to be fair, D.L. Hughley, who's a regular on my show as well, um, he had been hearing that, and he got into it with Bill Cosby on the air. You had a situation when Bill Cosby called in.
Sure.
Can you talk about that?
Well, I was doing Kiss FM here. Right after CNN, I was doing Kiss FM. I was doing the morning show. Bill Cosby had called in to promote a gig I think he was having in Connecticut or Pennsylvania. And I was like, Bill don't like me, and I don't particularly care for him. So I'm not gonna, I'll let you guys do the interview. It was for pre-tape. And so a girl named Jackie Reed and a cat named Steve Wilson, who were my co-hosts, started interviewing me. But he was such a dick. I find, like, for 5 minutes he's being such a dick. I was like, Mr. Cosby, what is it you like for us to know? He said, who is this? I said, this is D.L. Hughley. You say nigger, and I don't like your comedy. And he went in, and I was like, with all due respect, Mr. Cosby, I say nigger, but no co-ed has ever woke up drug with her drawers on backwards. And we go back and forth and back and forth. I said, I respect, he said, you could be my son. I said, but I'm not. And I said, everything you are because of your experiences, and I appreciate that, but you're not going to denigrate what I've been through. And I said, no one has ever, out of all the words people have ever said to me, no one's ever said rape. No one's ever said, we had this argument, right? And so I worked, Hot 107, Kiss FM was owned by Emmys. Bill Cosby, like, that tape will never air. This is a true story. He said, that tape is not going to air. And I said, the fuck it ain't. And 10 minutes later, all the people from Emmys came down, Emmys Communications, took the tape, made sure nobody had a copy of it, said if this airs, nobody in here will work in radio again.
That's why he been hearing that. And me and DL, my nigga, we had the same conversation. Bill Cosby told me why I'm saying Bill Cosby called and chastised. He did it a certain way, his shit. So he came up a certain way. Way harder than we ever had to. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he did it a certain way, and it's like a master seeing a master kung fu artist seeing a kid kick wrong. What are you doing? Kick like this. And then DL felt a certain way. Don't this man be hit me on my head, telling me how to kick and all that shit. I know how to kick. But a lot of people don't want to take the discipline. And I'm not saying DL shoulda.
Well, so, I don't know if it's okay. I see what you're saying here, but Bill Cosby, I understand that he's a master at what he did, and he was extremely successful, more successful than pretty much anybody else.
I'm not even talking about that part. I'm talking about
right. No, right. But I'm just saying, like, I've heard so many stories. Like, for example, I interviewed Tamala Jones.
Tamala,
right?
Yeah, I know Tam.
Great actress, long career. Yeah. She told me that, she was working on Booty Call, and Bill Cosby called that whole movie disgusting, and anyone that's associated with it was disgusting. What did he say exactly?
He said this film was disgusting and that it showed that African-American young people only think about body parts and sex, is what he said.
Those were his words?
Those were his words.
So here you are, a young adult, and you grew up watching Bill Cosby on
Loving
TV.
Him. Yes.
And matter of fact, the Cosby Show was already the biggest show in the world during that time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you got this, he was like everyone's dad growing up, and he's saying that your first film is disgusting.
And because he said that, a lot of people that were behind me becoming an actress when I was young turned against me. My drama teacher from high school, I went to go see her. She was highly disappointed in me because of his opinion.
Huh.
But now look, and I hate to say that, you should really be careful how you speak to people and what you do while you're doing this, because no one's squeaky clean. We all have things, and we don't always agree with what other people are doing, but you are, and what he was a big influential person at that time, and we were African American actors who really, at that time, there really wasn't a lot of African American projects, and you flipped us off without using your middle finger.
You know, Eddie Murphy, when he did Cars with Comedians, getting coffee with Seinfeld, he said how Bill Cosby showed up at one of his stand-ups and was like, yeah, you're doing it wrong. You never talk about how much money you make. Come see my show and I'll show you how it's done. Bill Cosby would always berate and belittle black comedians.
Listen to me.
I mean, you know these stories.
I know these stories, but have you ever studied Kung Fu?
Karate back in the day.
Did your master tell you everything he was doing was right?
No.
His man, and I'm not saying that they should listen, but they're going to have an opinion based on their teaching and where they came from. That's why Bruce.
I don't know, man, but it's comedy. It's art.
No, it's not comedy. It's not comedy. Comedy is politics. Okay. All day long. That's why Hannibal Buress has a fucking career. This fuck is about funny as my goddamn shoe falling off.
Okay.
I mean, you tell me this nigga say something funny, and I really like where. What the fuck is this nigga saying that anybody gives a fuck about? It's politics. Comedy, this whole business is politics. I have a ceiling because I don't play politics. Mm-hmm. Okay? I'm Richard's son. We don't do that.
Right. You've been in a lot of movies. Politics or not, like your filmography is pretty deep, man.
But that's before politics gave. I came from the era where the mob ran Hollywood. Mm. You were working with men. You were working with fucking men. Smoking cigars, Lou Wasserman, making deals. Mm. Let's get this shit happening.
Yeah.
Lou
Wasserman was a gangster.
The whole town.
Yeah.
Hollywood was built on gangsterism.
Yeah.
I was like, what? But then it became, let's be friends. Let's everybody work together. What? Okay.